بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين صدق الله العظيم.
تبلغ بالقليل من القليل بالقليل من القليل وأي السد للسفر الطويل.
Viewers, I have just quoted to you from the eternal message of Allah, the Holy Quran, where Allah tells the Nabi, and by extension to all of us, tell them, O Muhammad, most certainly my prayers, my sacrifices, my very living and my dying are all dedicated to and for Allah, the Lord of the worlds. And this have I been commanded, and I am the first of the Muslims. I am the first who surrenders to this, the first who is totally committed to this. So Islam, according to Iqbal, he says religion, if we call Islam, is not a departmental affair. It is neither mere thought, no mere feeling, no mere action. It is an expression of the whole man. Yes, the whole person is submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no dichotomy and there is no departmentalization in Islam. You are a Muslim through and through. You are first a Muslim, second a Muslim, always a Muslim. And that would be also in the politics of life, that you have to have Islam at the very top in the government and in the life of the ordinary Muslim, because that is where he builds his theory and his discussion on khudi, that is the self, the individuality, how it must become totally submitted to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the good of entire creation. And therefore he says that whatever type of government it is, it has to have deen, it has to have spirituality at its base. Allama Iqbal says, Jalale Badshaahi ho ya Jamhuri tamasha ho, Jalale Badshaahi ho ya Jamhuri tamasha ho, जुदा हो दीन सियासत से तो रह जाती है चंगेज़ी. It can be the majesty of monarchy, or it can be the fanfare of democracy. If you divorce deen, Islam, spiritual affinity and responsibility from your politics, then only Changizi is left, and that means tyranny, the rule of Genghis Khan, the rule of oppression and wrong. Jalale Badshaahi ho ya Jamhuri tamasha ho, juda ho deen siyasat se to reh jati hai Changizi. And this is what we have seen. And we have seen this also when we found that the Russians had come with a revolution that was godless. And Allama Iqbal told them at that time, and which has been proven true now. He wrote to Sir Francis' young husband. He says, the present negative state of Russian mind would not last indefinitely, for no system of society can rest on an atheistic basis. And didn't that prove to be true? The whole of the Soviet Union collapsed, and You can find today that they have so many different churches that are springing up because their ideology was not based on anything spiritual. So we also, as Muslims, we are supposed to take Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to be like some people that base their ideology on politics alone, dry politics like the West. Muslims are not like the West, we are different. अपनी मिल्लत पर क़याम अक़वाम मग़रिब से न कर. अपनी मिल्लत, that is you must not take as basis of a norm, the norms of the West, what you have in Islam. For khas hai tarkib mein qawme Rasul Hashmi, for the ummah of Muhammad is unique in its makeup. We have our own way of thinking, and all that is based in a holy book. Apni millat par qiyas aqwam maghrib se na kar. Don't take the standard of the West to be the standard of the ummah of Muhammad, because we are unique in our makeup. So we have our own life and culture, all based under a universality of the rule of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not according to the rules of man. And this is what has happened. And that is why Allama Iqbal warned then as far as what is happening more or less in the Arab world. He said the Muslims of the Near East should not depend upon the counsel of the Arab kings who were agents of imperialism. Today, we find many of the rulers in the Middle East, they are the agents of imperialism. The Arab people must further remember that they cannot afford to rely on the advice of those Arab kings who are not in a position to arrive at an independent judgment. This is what he said. This is in the 30s he said this. And today it is true. Whatever they decide, they should decide on their own initiative after a full understanding of the problems before them. Iqbal advised that the Muslim world should form their own Eastern League of Nations. We had the League of Nations, like the United Nations. He said, no, the Muslims must have a bloc where they will be able to come to a conclusion according to their norms and their Islam. And this is what he said in the 30s, the early 30s. And today we are faced with the same problems that he faced. And therefore we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us vision as he prayed, Dekha hai jo kuch maine auron ko bhi dikhla de. Whatever I have seen, Iqbal says, O Allah, let it become general and everyone be also having the vision that I have. Sallallahu ala nabiyil kareem. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وفي العز للعبد الذليل تبلغ بالقليل من القليل بالقليل من القليل وأي السد للسفر الطويل وأي السد للسفر الطويل وفي عصيانه عار ونار وفي عصيانه عار ونار وفي البعد مع خزي وبي